Yeah, I gotta be honest. I fucking hate it. To say I'm excited for this one would be an understatement. Airlift Performance finally called me back. Finally got back to me. And they sent me a brand new manifold. But they didn't just replace it with another 3S manifold, like the same thing I've been having problems with. They sent out the 3P manifold. It looks exactly the same, but the guts on the inside is what's different. And it's what's on the inside that counts, right? Now, if you don't already know, the difference between a 3P and a 3S, which is what I had, is the 3S manifold only runs off of an app that's on your cell phone. The app for Android phones is no longer available on the App Store, and it's not being developed anymore from Airlift, so it's kind of difficult when you have problems. So the guys at Airlift were very understanding. I guess they've had problems with other people's systems as well, so they were nice enough to warranty this out. I was just 1 month inside my warranty. I was very lucky, you guys. So they went ahead and gave me the better manifold. I already had a wiring harness from what you guys saw in a previous episode. I just thought that because these manifolds all look the same, maybe I could just swap out the wiring harness and plug in a controller. You can't do that because the brain on the inside of the manifold for the 3S is different. The nice thing about this new one is 3P, which is pressure, and 3H, which is height. It's the same manifold. And if you look at the harness, and if you look at this harness here, you'll see these plugs that are capped off right here, these little guys. Those are for height sensors. So at a later date, I will be able to buy height sensors and plug those in, hook them up on the wheels, and just program this thing to ride at a steady height. I've got to get this harness in the truck, replacing this one. So I've got to do a little bit of wiring, which I'm sure you guys don't want to see any more of. So I'll just go ahead and knock that out real quick. And then I've got to take my airlines and pop them off and get them hooked up into here. But if you'll notice, there's no fittings in the front of this manifold. That's because this manifold is designed for fittings that you put in. That way, if you want to run 1/4 inch line, you can do that. If you want to run 3/8 line, you can do that. You don't have to worry about what manifold to buy. You just put in different fittings. So these things already have some thread sealant on them, so I just got to go ahead and screw these into the front of this guy. Moment of truth. It's sitting low. That's a good sign. What's not a good sign is somebody decided to take apart their truck right in front of the gate. So now I can't get that out.
What an idiot.
But I think I have a plan. I've got these guys right here that I use to tie up the dogs whenever we're in a place that doesn't have a fence. And I bought another one of these. I swear I have probably purchased 20 of these things in my life. I wonder if there's like a, buy 10, get one free. I'm owed a couple, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to tie these out in the ground, and hopefully that's enough of an anchor to kind of shimmy this thing over, and then I can drive the Yukon out. Let's give it a try. Well, we're not off to a good start. Wanted to use both just to give myself the best chance of this actually doing something, but as I was putting the second one in, it broke. It broke. Wait. My strap broke. Attempt number 3. I've got the 2 biggest, baddest ratchet straps I have going to this tree stump over here. All the way across here. That's more of an angle than I was going for, but nothing else is working right now. And I don't think that tree stump is going to pull out of the ground. But we will see. Tighten up the gap. Pretty good. All right. I don't know how far that is, but the bottom of the tire was here. I mean, half a rotation. Whatever that is. Now, the question is, if I just back the Yukon up, just bring her on back, if I move the table and all this junk, can I fit in between the truck and this post? And then I got the trailer out there to compete with also. Thanks.
Welcome, sir.
I think it needs to be lower.
Yeah.
It needs to be washed is what it needs. All right, I'm gonna move some cars around. I'll see you guys in the morning. So you can see we've got the classic GM clear coat peeling, and I tried to do this half the hood so you can kind of see a before and after, but I've been going after this thing with 400 grit sandpaper with just some soapy water, just kind of keeping it lubricated. But if you get it in tight here, if you look at the real white spots right there, that clear coat is not sitting on top of paint. There's air underneath that basically. So you can see I can just kind of wipe that away with my finger. What I'm trying to do with the sandpaper is kind of feather it out. So yeah, the clear coat's still failing right here, but there's not a hard edge around there like there is over here. So you can see how it's all bubbly, and when I feel it, it's rough. After going over it with the sandpaper, there's still a slight texture, but it's not nearly as bad. And I'm gonna keep going after it with the sandpaper, and you know, that's gonna dull it up and kind of put some little scratches in there. But then I've got some polishing compound here, and I think by the time I'm done, I'll be able to kind of polish it out and make it shiny again and kind of hide some of these imperfections in the clear coat. Well, here it is. After many, many years and many phone calls and arguments, I finally got this thing put back together. Big thank you to Airlift Performance for warrantying out that manifold and actually upgrading me from the 3S to the 3P. They really stepped up in a big way to help me get this thing done. Yeah, it was a lot of work, and it's still not where I wanted it to be. It's not where I was expecting it to be, and I'll take you around and show you a little bit about it. When you're putting something on air ride, one thing that I learned recently is the camber gets affected greatly on your front tires, which makes total sense. But you have to spend another few $100s to get upper control arms to correct that camber. It puts the ball joint at kind of an extreme angle on that upper control arm, and it's really hard on the suspension. So that's something that is going to have to be put on a to-do list. That's still quite a gap right there, and that's just because of the geometry of the factory suspension. All of that has to be redone. So the rear, this thing is basically 4-linked from the factory, so the rear tires can't go any lower than that because of the way that four-link is set up, and because of where I put the airbags. I went bag over axle, so that limits the drop of the body. So to correct that, I would have to redo the rear suspension for probably the 50 millionth time, get bags that weld to the bottom side of the axle and hang off the back. So you do a bag behind axle, and then notch the frame, which I don't want to go too crazy on the body. You know, I don't want to lose any headroom or do any crazy body drops or, you know, alter the floor in any way. So I'm limited there as far as the C-notch goes on the rear end. Also, this thing has just been beat to heck. I mean, we've got the classic GM clear coat going on all over the roof. This thing sat outside in an uncovered storage for years. So it just baked in the sun and cooked all the clear coat off of it. Super awesome neighbors in my old apartment complex backing into the Yukon and not telling me. There's all kinds of scrapes and scratches from people hitting this thing. Door dings, there's little dents everywhere. Just because this thing sat in a parking lot at an apartment complex with, you know, not everyone is going to be car people. They don't care if they open their door and put a dent or a scratch in yours. So is it bagged? Yeah, technically. Did I do what I set out to do? Yeah, I did. Do I love it? No, I hate it. I think that I ruined one of my favorite vehicles. There is a lot more work to be done on the Yukon. Am I going to be the one to do it? I don't know. Am I going to pass it on to somebody else and let them kind of finish it up? It's looking like a real possibility. I mean, the major things, there's still a ton of suspension work that needs to be done. The whole thing needs to be painted. A little bit of body work to get some of these little dents out. And I just don't think I've got it in me. I've lost the motivation to kind of do what I'm going to do with this. So they can't all be wins. I think that what I've done with the Yukon, the amount of effort, the work, the money, the total investment has not been worth it to me. I think that I would get more enjoyment. I think that you guys would get more enjoyment watching, you know, the family hauler Yukon that's got, you know, engine mods that can drop the kids off at soccer practice and then, you know, go run the 8th mile or quarter mile. I think that would be, it would give me more satisfaction, and it would give you guys more satisfaction, just for an entertainment standpoint. There's a big part of me that still has a lot of hope for this thing, even though I'm not totally satisfied with the airbags. And in the front here, I didn't do anything custom. I just put in a bag over strut, basically. So it's just these 3 bolts right here. I can undo those, unbolt the trunnion from the bottom, and I can put factory stuff back in here, or I could put some coilovers in here. There's plenty of companies out there that are making a much more sport-tuned suspension for these bigger SUVs. And even though it is a bigger SUV, that's a 6.2. I mean, that's an LS-based engine. I know a lot of you guys are going to get angry about that, but that's what it is. The Vortex 6.2 has all the same provisions for performance modification, just like a Camaro. So there's a lot that I could do with this platform. There's a lot of potential here. So I'm not giving up on it completely, but I think I'm giving up on the airbags because, like I said, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of effort, and the payoff just wasn't there. There's a lot to take into consideration with an airbag vehicle that I wasn't thinking about when I first started this project. And You know, I learned about it now, and am I feeling a little defeated? Yeah, I am. But am I totally down and out? No. I still like the thing. I'm just not digging the airbags. So let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see, and we'll take that into consideration when I make up my mind with what I want to do.